Hey guys, welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video for this Monday, where we go over the general community news and or the official news from Infinity Ward. If you're new here to the channel, I'd like to welcome you guys along with the returning visitors and the support of subscribers. All of your guys' participation here on the channel is greatly appreciated. Last week, of course, we were able to take advantage of that extended double XP. It looks like the team has been able to clean up most of those connectivity drops and other issues that we were experiencing, so that was just a nice refreshing change for this weekend. On Thursday, May the 7th, the team released a server-side patch where they made an adjustment to the smoke challenge to unlock the Bruin MK9. So you could either be in smoke or the enemy could be in smoke to go ahead and get that unlock. Now, for me personally, I didn't find it too difficult. For some reason, I get those daily challenges to get smoke unlocked, so it was something that I was more accustomed to and used to. So getting the unlocks on my end wasn't all so bad, but I hope you guys were able to finally get that unlock for the Bruin. The team also made a fix to prevent vehicle exploits, which were creating a bit of a problem in the game. So I was happy to see that the helicopter was back, in particular for plunder, as I find it to be an easy way to get around to complete contracts and just find new areas to loot. So I was very happy the team was able to resolve that rather quickly. In addition to some of the fixes to exploits, the team made adjustments to exploits that were in ground war infected. The team also reduced the fire delay on the lightweight and match grade trigger attachment for the 357, and then removed the hammer delay from when you first initially fire the 357. Also, we saw that there was a damage rebalance to it, of course, as well as a fix for a bug where the damage on the 357 snake shot was too high at longer distances. And as I understand it, to kind of make up for the changes on multiplayer, the 357's damage at range has been slightly increased. And from a Charlie Intel article, it would appear that Infinity Ward has confirmed on Twitter that they are still planning to release the new map Hardhat, a remake from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 during Season 3 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And from Game Rant, a little something we learned last week as well, Activision Blizzard reveals that they had made nearly $1 billion from microtransactions in Q1 2020, which ended on March 31st, 2020. A large reason for this microtransactions growth is Call of Duty Modern Warfare and the free-to-play Call of Duty Warzone and Plunder, as we would anticipate. Of course, we are going through a current pandemic shelter in place as a result of a certain illness that I cannot mention here on YouTube. So that, of course, contributed to it as far as timing. Now, that's not to dismiss the obvious tragedy of what this pandemic has caused to people, but as a result of us having to shelter in place, more people have time to game, and of course Activision and all the developers for Call of Duty Modern Warfare as well as Warzone and Plunder were able to take advantage of just the timing of it and not so much the distressing elements of the current pandemic. But nonetheless, good for the team, good for the timing, and good for the players. In the YouTube Call of Duty Modern Warfare community, we see that there has been much discussion over the M4A1 and or the Growl for either Plunder or Warzone, but in fairness, it's more specifically centered around Warzone, as that seems to be what a lot of the individual fellow creators are covering here on YouTube. But nonetheless, for me personally, I find that the Growl 556 really gets the job done, particularly in Warzone and even in Plunder, as I can configure the weapon to give me a little bit more speed and maneuverability, and in particular, I do like the ADS as well as its damage at range, so you can kind of stay protective, because oftentimes I like to play Plunder solo, and when you're going up against a potential team of 3 players, you're going to need that range and mobility, and definitely the Growl is going to provide that for you. I also find that the iron sights on it work quite well, so that's going to give you that additional attachment option so that you don't have to put a particular scope on it. Now, if you want to run with a scope with the Growl, you can, but I would say the iron sights works just as effectively. The M4A1, there's just something about that weapon. It is good, but for me in general, there's just something about it that doesn't entirely work as well as the Growl. So I would definitely pick the Growl if you guys want to check that out. I'm sure most of you have probably unlocked it by now, but nonetheless, as an option, the Growl 556 is my personal choice for Warzone and even for Plunder. One of the questions that my guildmate presented was whether or not people would return back to the Akimbo Renetti with Burst, which was also a very popular choice for players before we discovered, of course, that the 357 Snake Shot was just so incredibly OP. But nonetheless, there is a great video by Drifter, the new Akimbo Snake Shot Warzone in-depth on the Akimbo Renetti, which will give you guys a good idea about whether or not going to the Renetti will be a good option. But I still like the 357 in general gameplay. I've not used the Akimbo very much at all in either Warzone or Plunder, but it might be something I experiment with particularly with the Renetti versus the 357, but I do enjoy both guns, so we'll just have to see if the community starts leaning towards the Renetti in both Warzone and Plunder. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments section what you prefer in Warzone and Plunder. And just on a side note, I also like running the Bruin MK9 in Plunder because you can almost configure it to be a very fast weapon and it feels very much like an assault rifle. And I also run the Renetti as my secondary because it's such a super fast gun, and I actually had an opportunity to take down a team with just the Renetti itself. So not even having a main gun, the Renetti came through for me in a pinch when I really needed it. So you guys let me know what you enjoy using in Warzone and in Plunder. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Monday's look at the community news for May the 11th. I hope you guys had a great Mother's Day weekend and were able to get some game time in there and enjoy some of the new playlists that were added just recently. I want to thank all you guys for your continued support here on the channel, and if you are watching this on BitChute and DTube, I would encourage you guys to give me a follow there as well. But as you see appearing there on the screen, that would be the obligatory channel icon to subscribe, along with selecting notifications. That way you guys will have all the latest out of Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Plunder.
Although I had the second most
Look at
confirms
Mr.
on team,
Tracker
and I
being
joined.